Okay.
Old school viewers will know what this pig stool is about.
I'm quite tiny. Not really. I'm 5'7.5", but Simon is very large.
And I'm actually like doing like the splits as well right now in order for Martina to fit. So
it is the return of the pig stool.
Hey.
This pig stool took us a long time to find, you know. It was the correct height for both of us.
So I just finished getting my tattoo done here in Japan, and we figured since we both have tattoos and we both live in Japan, we could talk a little bit about what it's like to have tattoos in Japan.
To begin with, I know a lot of people seem to think that Japanese people are terrified of tattoos, right? It seems like everyone we see online, I have tattoos and I'm worried about coming to Tokyo, like are people gonna run from me?
I have a little butterfly in my wrist and I'm worried that somebody's gonna see it and they're gonna be really, really scared and I'm not gonna be able to go anywhere. They won't even let me off the airplane.
Okay, so that is a total false.
I was gonna say it's a false lie.
But doesn't lie already mean false?
This is actually perpetrated in music as well.
Oh yeah, that's
Frank Ocean.
Yeah.
I Love You to Pieces. Blonde is one of my favorite albums of all time. But in Chanel, you said, hide my tattoos in Shibuya. Police think I'm of the underworld. Frankie, we're on first name terms now. The police don't think you're of the underworld. You're in Shibuya. Yeah. You're in like the tourist central.
It's like being in New York Times
Nobody
Square.
thinks that you're part of the underworld.
Let's just dispel this myth immediately, okay? Well, I said mist, didn't I?
You said mist.
I did.
Dispel the mist.
Dispel the myth.
Let's dispel this myth immediately. There's Japanese people that live in Japan.
Yes.
They look Japanese, they
Yep.
talk Japanese.
Yep.
When you show up in Japan and you don't look like a Japanese person, they immediately think to themselves,
Yeah.
You're not part of our underworld.
Right?
it doesn't matter if you're black and you
Yeah.
speak Japanese, if
No.
you're white and you speak Japanese, or
No.
even if you're East Asian but you don't look Japanese, they're gonna say,
You guys are foreigners.
People don't think that we're part of the Yakuza. They
No.
don't think we're part of the underworld. I'm not part of the Ducky Squad. You're not part of the Cupcake Crew.
The puppy crew.
All right? So don't be worried about people thinking that you're a bad person
Yeah.
for having tattoos.
in our neighborhood, we have a lot of old people.
Yep.
And when they saw my tattoos, a lot of people were intrigued.
Yeah.
They wanted to like touch it. They wanted to
Older
ask
people,
about it.
like not just like people in their 30s and 40s, but people in their 70s,
Yeah, 70s,
80s, like
80s.
170s. People live to a really ripe old age here.
Yes.
Yes.
But for real, they're very interested. And like,
Yeah.
I remember somebody asking me once, like, oh, is this paint? And they literally just reached out and touched my arm. And I remember a couple times we went to izakayas and there was a guy working there who clearly looked like he was part of a gang. He
Right.
was Japanese and he had his sleeves covered up to here.
Yeah.
But we could see his tattoos like dripping underneath a little bit and he
Right.
was really stern-faced.
Yeah.
And the two of us were kind of like new to Japan.
Yep.
And where did we wander? Actually, for those who've listened to our podcast, it was on the dark side of Kichijoji.
Yes.
Which
Listen
now,
to our podcast.
Listen to our podcast. When I took off my sweater, this guy comes over and then he went, kawaii!
Yeah.
Literally broke into like almost like a honey senpai voice. And then he asked to see it. And I had to pull up my sleeve further and he was like, oh my God, this is so cute. So it doesn't even matter that he's got representation of his own tattoos that means something to him. He wasn't like offended
Yeah.
that I had tattoos.
So people visiting Japan, stop shitting your pants about this. You're not gonna have a rough time. There are some things you might be limited from experiencing because of some arcane tattoo laws that a lot of people don't necessarily agree with.
there are a lot of problems with going to onsens, which is the hot springs.
Yes.
A lot of them have that sign up that says no tattoos.
Yep.
You can get around it in some ways if you have a small tattoo and you can put like a bandage on it, or you can do like a little waterproof like sticker bandage. But just to be honest with you guys, if you have a teeny tiny tattoo, like some people are like, I have a small tattoo on my lower back.
Yeah.
You're getting into an area with a towel on, you're taking this towel off and you're kind of like rinsing off and then getting into hot water.
Yeah.
It's not like people are going and like zeroing in on your butt
Yeah.
cheeks and then rushing off to the authorities at the front desk.
There are some onsens, like the one we did a video about, that's totally okay with people having tattoos.
There's Dogo Onsen, which
Right.
is one of the most famous onsens. Apparently that's where Studio Ghibli had its inspiration for Spirited Away. And that place is like, tattoos have always been fine. They've never placed a ban on
Yeah,
it.
and there are some onsens that kind of operate in the gray area
Yeah.
for like places that I haven't actually taken yet, but I've been like planning some secret places.
Is it for my birthday? Is it because it's gonna be my birthday? Are you
And
making plans for my birthday?
What they said is that they don't overtly say that they're okay with tattoos, but they say they're okay with tattoos.
Yeah.
But it's always nice for you to like call and make sure you check if they're okay with it beforehand.
So if you're living in Japan, one of the bigger problems can be getting a gym membership.
Yep. Here in Kichijoji, there were like a few major gym chains that I tried to apply for membership, and I was like completely covered up. Nobody saw anything.
Yeah.
And like on the form, they said, "Do you have any tattoos?" And Martina said, "You should just lie about it." But I'm an honest person, and I hate lying. And every situation.
Chotomate kudasai. Let me explain why. Because
Okay.
Simon works out in long sleeve shirts and he
Right.
wasn't planning on showering there.
Nope.
So I said, if you're covering up your tattoo, which
Mm-hmm.
PS, I looked up online, many foreigners living in Japan lie about their tattoos and never show it. But some people said that they covered up their tattoos
Right.
and then in the change room,
Yeah.
when they took their shirt off, they were reported
Right.
because they had tattoos.
And there are people like me that operate with a moral compass
All right.
and don't want to lie under any circumstances.
Okay.
So I couldn't get a gym membership here. There are supposedly other gyms. I hear that Gold's Gym, from what people have told me, is okay with tattoos.
in more of the foreign neighborhoods.
Yeah,
like
that's a little bit
Roppongi.
too far from where we are. So I just built a gym in my backyard and I have my little like rinky dink
rusted.
squat rack rusted.
He works out in the
my-
snow.
Working out in the rain is sad. Let me tell you, it's sad.
But I go to the community center, which is every city and every single like local area will have
Like a rec center.
Like a rec center.
Yeah.
I was told that I really have to cover up all my tattoos
Yep.
because it's considered to be an area for children and for old people. They're going to be a lot more like uncomfortable and
Exactly.
nervous if they see these tattoos. So when I went to the gym, I made sure that I wore hoodies zipped up. It was awful.
What makes you sweat more? You burn more calories, I guess? It's good for you.
I was so sweaty. And like I remember doing like one of the weight things and my sleeve went up and I was like so terrified
Yeah.
that somebody would notice. I haven't-
Actually, the music stopped. It was like a record player scratch, and everybody looking at you and said, Yakuza.
There was actually no
That didn't
music.
happen.
at the
Nobody
rec
did
center,
that.
No. But I do go swimming. That's a lie. I went once at my local rec center. I'm trying to go more,
You
okay?
should go more, girl.
I have to wear a like a skin
body
suit,
condom.
a body condom.
Body condom.
That's the correct
Yep.
term. It's a long sleeve one that goes from here to here, zips up to my neck, and so I have to wear that when I go swimming. But you
Yeah.
also have to wear a shower cap, like the little not a shower cap.
Swim cap.
Swim cap. Angel loves their swim caps. Korea, obsessed with swim caps.
Yep.
Japan.
I have more hair on my chest than on my head. Am I gonna wear a swim cap on my chest?
The last time we went to Korea, we stayed at a hotel and Simon got into the pool without a swim cap on because he's bald. And they were like, you have to wear a swim cap. And I'm like,
But
Do you?
it doesn't
Do you?
make sense.
Where's the logic in this right here?
another place we had a little bit of problem with our tattoo was when we went to the beach. And we were able to sit on these little tiny cafe side huts and they were serving like food and beer and snacks and stuff. And when I went to try to go into one of them, the guy at the door said I have to put like a towel
Right.
or something just to kind of like cover my tattoo.
As did I had to cover mine up as well.
Yeah, and they had signs being like no tattoos.
The logic behind it is all Yakuza have tattoos, so if you just ban all tattoos, no Yakuza will be able to come, but that also actually winds up hurting the people that aren't Yakuza.
What was interesting was the guy that was telling us that we can't come in also said to us when we were leaving, can I see your tattoo?
Yeah.
I really like it.
He was
It's so
totally cool
cute.
with it.
So even though the Japanese people know that the tattoos aren't necessarily taboo or worrisome,
Yeah.
they still have to enforce these kind of like archaic laws.
That people don't fully agree with. When it comes to getting tattoos in Japan, you might have realized that I haven't actually told you where I got my tattoo in Japan because I actually asked the studio if it's okay for me to do so. And they said that they don't want that much publicity. A lot of tattoo shops, when they become too popular, get raided by the police because there's a weird law in Japan that kind of makes it illegal to do tattoos even though it doesn't necessarily target tattoos themselves.
It is not illegal to have a tattoo parlor in Japan.
No.
And it is not illegal to get tattoos in Japan.
True.
The illegal thing is that Japan has made it a law that in order for you to give tattoos, to do hair removal,
Yeah.
and to do chemical peels, you have to have a doctor's license.
Yes.
But tattoo artists are saying, you want me to go for 5 to 6 years to get my like doctorate so that I can give a tattoo? And on top of that, just because you have your doctor's degree doesn't mean you're an artist.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't mean you can draw.
So the big argument in Japan is, are tattoos a medical procedure or are they art? I tend to think it's art. You think it's art. A lot of people think
Yeah.
it's art, but according to the law, they're still treating it like a medical procedure. So you're not allowed to give or do tattoos in Japan.
So 2015, there was a famous court case that was going on in Osaka. A tattoo artist was raided by the police
Yeah.
and they charged him $3,000.
Yeah.
So he decided to go to court and fight it. Unfortunately, he did lose his court case. They ended up halving the price of the fine, but he said he's still not giving up on this fight.
Yep.
And so there are a lot of websites online that are petitioning and trying to get people to talk more about Japanese tattoo culture and trying to keep it going. And one thing that I read that I thought was actually pretty moving was that people keep thinking of it as just like a tattoo thing. But people in Japan are saying, this is historical.
Right.
Like this is part of our culture. This aspect of Japanese culture is going to get lost as this law is causing people to shut down and close the shop.
Right.
Japan's been tattooing for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Yes.
And they've been tattooing and it wasn't illegal.
Right.
And it wasn't even made for criminals.
Yeah, but this is just like our perspective from the research that we have. I'm sure there are many more nuances to the argument that we're not aware of. So please let us know in the comment section below. We want to have a healthy discussion about this and see what you guys think about it as
So
well.
what do you guys think about tattoo culture? You know, even if you don't have a tattoo, do you think that tattoos should still be banned in onsens and on beaches?
Yep. So that's it for our video on tattoos in Japan. For those of you that want to know what this tattoo of mine means, because I just got it done, make sure you click on the link here and then I'll tell you my very emotional story about what this tattoo means to me.
Oh.
Hey, you know what was a fond memory? Doing these videos again. We haven't like stood up and done a TLDR like this
I know.
in
And
a very long
look,
time.
It's a kitchen. It's kind of like
We
our
used to
old
sit
ones.
in the kitchen
Yeah.
when we did our first set of them.
Wait, if you guys are joining us and you're new, when
Yeah.
we were in Korea, we used to do these videos in like our kitchens, and then it slowly moved depending on the
I
houses.
had red hair back then.
You had hair back then.
True.
Yes.
It's gone now.
It's gone. Now let's edit this monster of a video. It's so long. We talk so much.